Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order and open a roll call.
Goodell.
Here.
Scholl.
Here.
Rusher.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
We'll need a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
Move we approve.
Again.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we need a motion to approve the minutes of the November 17th, 2014 regular council meeting.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we need a motion to approve the November investment report. We've got a copy of that in front of you. Any questions?
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we've got the claims for November. Anybody have any questions on those? We'll need a motion to approve.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under communications, anything from the public in attendance this evening? If not, we'll move on to new business. First, we need a motion to approve a lease agreement between the City of Humboldt and Humboldt County for use of the former Humboldt Fire Station for the storage of equipment. Lease payments will be $300 a month. I guess up to date on that, Aaron?
This is the lease from the previous council meeting, when obviously Pat Caldwell came and talked about potentially leasing the old fire station. Went through the county board of supervisors. They approved it, and he's actually moved in all the equipment. We were actually waiting on the lease to get finalized, but he needed to get his stuff out of Rutland, so it's already in there, but this just contains everything that we've had previously. Eric actually drafted this lease agreement back when the Trap Club used the old fire station, so it had all the language as far as, you know, the protections for the city. We just had to modify it that there would actually be a payment, and that they that he would actually have rights to those first 2 days. It hasn't interfered at all with the police department. They can still have the room for the cruisers in there, and there's a little bit of room in the back for the city for storage also.
Christmas lights and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the chamber grill. Right now there's some playground equipment in there that hasn't been able to get in the ground with the early frost. And some of the auction stuff was back there, so we have a little bit more room now. So.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll move on to resolutions. We need a motion to approve the final proposed resolution number 2014-137. Resolution approving pay estimate number 3 from Sand Construction Supply Company of Humboldt, Iowa, in the amount of $88,144.58 for the Humboldt Municipal Airport Conventional Hangar Building Construction Project.
The hangar's still moving along well. It still looks like the helicopter from Mid-American will be able to be housed in it on time. The window is getting a little tighter. We have lost a little bit of the leeway that we had earlier, but we're still moving along pretty well. I think we'll make the time frame.
Is there penalty clauses if it doesn't make it?
I'm sure there's a liquidated damage clause. Honestly, I don't know. Right now, we're probably in that leeway time frame of working days. I know I've been talking with the company that's putting up the power lines, because they're gonna use some bulk water from the city, and I know they've been delayed too, so they might not even be able to bring it over. They said they ran into so many problems with the helicopter over in Cedar Rapids on the line that they were putting up that they haven't even moved over here.
Okay.
And then the cold weather has delayed them on getting the poles up near Cassuth put in, so.
So we might be all right then.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be an issue.
Move we approve.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Goodell.
Aye.
Scholl.
Aye.
Rusher.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Eric, you almost missed the whole thing.
Almost did.
So that concludes our regular scheduled items, so, Aaron?
Let's see, obviously, Leroy actually retired out. We had a flag flown over the Capitol in Washington D.C. In honor of him and his retirement. Also, everybody I'm sure signed the card and for his retirement. Chris is now taken over, and obviously he's getting right into the thick of it with the street department and taking care of the roads. So that's a big transition, but I think that Chris will do a great job. Sanitation, we've got a position open in sanitation. It's been out and in the newspaper, on the radio, up on the website and Facebook and whatnot. And we got a good group of applicants for the position. We're gonna we're gonna have 2 interviews over the next week. We've got the first one scheduled, still waiting to schedule the second one. And then hope to fill that right away. With Christmas coming up, obviously, it's not good to be shorthanded. I don't know if we'll be able to make that time frame, but it would be really nice to have somebody on board before Christmas starts, so. Other than that, still a lot of waiting around on some of the projects for things punch lists to be finished. You know, we've got several projects that are open. You know, the 7th Avenue South actually has never been closed yet. Blacktop has not finished the punch list on that. We've got the Sumner Avenue Hill, Hobie Construction has not finished their punch list. You know, there's the water plant punch list isn't completed. Closing out projects seems to be, it always is fun, and these projects have been no exception. There's been a lot of problems with trying to get all the little odds and ends picked up so we can give them their final payment. But I guess the good news is, in many of the projects, we're holding on to a significant amount of money to make sure that they do finalize those projects. So, like I said, the company that's putting in the water tower, or the power poles for Mid-American, is planning on using water from the city if they can't get water from the river or other sources. The bulk water would be a significant amount of bulk water that they would use from the city, so there is going to be some decent amount of revenue generated from that. I've told them that they have to give us as much warning as possible on when they think that they're going to be using a large amount of water, so that we can accommodate the production of the water plant and make sure that that it's not interfering with the street department being able to be there. So, you know, before breaks and after lunch, things like that, when we know somebody will be in the street shed. They actually use the water to keep the pressure in the hole so the hole doesn't collapse while they're pouring concrete and whatnot. So it's kind of a cool process that they explained. Outside of that, continuing to work on budget, you know, just preliminary, talk to the department heads about making sure that they were thinking about the budget process and what they needed for the upcoming year. And then, let's see.
Is there still talk about pouring the bridge yet this winter, or is that kind of gone by the wayside now with the weather?
We can't tell them they can't pour the bridge.
Okay.
So as long as they can meet specs, they can pour the bridge. If I had my choice, I would tell them they can't pour the bridge. But if they can meet the specs, and I think it's 36 degrees and rising, and they can keep the concrete at a temperature of like 50 degrees, and there's all these different requirements for the bridge, then they can go ahead and pour, as long as they meet those DOT specs. We've had a conversation with the bridge contractor and informed him that the specs will be enforced. There's absolutely no leniency. You know, that it's very important that they're very serious about, you know, maintaining those requirements. The DOT has found some different ways that they can meet those requirements by, you know, shielding the whole thing and pumping heat into it underneath and whatnot, but
It'd be a big structure.
yeah, they've done it
That'd be
before.
costly, yeah.
Guess
Guess that's up to them.
Goverson said they've done it before,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, that they'd have to heat up all the steel, you know, there's a lot of work, and as it gets colder and colder, it's just more and more unlikely that they would be able to hit that. The flip side is any of their false work's in danger if they leave it over the winter. So, you know, it's, you know, a situation where you're gonna experience significant cost no matter what you do, so.
I see they're still working. They went by at 6 o'clock
Yeah.
this morning, crews and stuff, so
Yeah.
I see they're still.
Well, and they're dealing with
Moving
short
ahead,
days,
so, yeah.
yeah, not a whole lot of daylight. Other than that, the fire department's applying for a grant for for a pumper truck, where the Assistance to Firefighters grant through FEMA. And I've been working with Linda Frieders to get that application together. A lot of information, a lot of time spent on doing that, but it is a huge grant if they get it. It's like 400,000 or close to it, so, you know.
C4 Dodge just got one. They got
Mhm.
a grant for one of those.
There's a lot of funding, but the problem is every fire truck is very expensive. And so, you know, the demands, you fund, you know, let's say you fund 10 fire departments, you're talking about $4 million right there just with 10 fire departments. So you figure the money goes fast. So, other than that, the new police officer has started and is getting acquainted, is working 12-hour shifts with 2 different officers to get a feel for everything in town. And that's what I've got.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing from me.
Daryl?
No, I know that.
Nothing? Joel?
The only thing I had with, I just had a citizen wanted maybe you to discuss with Sheriff Kruger about traffic up at Taft School. They thought that that was kind of an issue with people maybe going through those temporary stop signs and things like that. They just thought it was kind of hazardous around at school time and then at the end of the day too. So if that was something you'd want to discuss with them.
Okay. I know that at all the school times, essentially once they close, it's like every intersection around the schools, somebody wants a police officer or sheriff on each one of them. But I know that that's always been a source, an issue, is that temporary stop sign. You know, people disregard it, but I can certainly make sure that the dean's aware. So.
Not to mention the amount of traffic and people and kids darting. I try to avoid it with the plague. You know, I like the plague, so.
Yeah.
Anything else, then?
Be nice to have the bridge open again.
Yeah.
Would help, Daryl. The only thing I'd like to mention is Main Street. You know, south side of Main Street, I'm sure all of you have driven by that, how bad the ice and the snow is on that. You know, and I think we need to make a concentrated effort to try and get that out of there. You know, if we get some warm weather, I think the guys should be out. I don't care if it's Saturday or Sunday, somebody needs to go out with a payloader. And you know, we had that opportunity last weekend when it was nice, and it's, you know, that's treacherous. You know, I've known, talking to business owners, of people falling down uptown, you know, and opens us up for a liability, I think, at some point anyway, and it's just, and it looks bad. You know, the ice is terrible on that south side anyway, and it's, I hate, you know, especially when they have Black Friday and shopping days and stuff, that everyone comes in and sees that and thinks that we're not trying anyway, so I think we should, which I'm not a big proponent of helping on that, I think we should make a concentrated effort. If we get a couple warm days, I think the crew should go out at some point anyway and try and get that out of there and stuff. You know, off hours or whatever, when there aren't cars there at least anyway, or get some sand on it or ice melt or something and try and get that cleaned up anyway, because that just doesn't look very good for our town and stuff anyway.
Yeah, I know we had a few calls today about that, and I passed that along to Chris, but I'll talk to him again and make sure that we get it taken care of.
Like I say, I know we can't do anything unless it's cold, but when it does warm up, I think we need to, I don't care if it's overtime or whatever they decide to pick it, but at some point anyway, we need to be out and try and get that cleaned up a little bit anyway, so. Alrighty. With that, we need a motion to schedule Monday, December 15th, 2014, at 5:30 PM as a date and time for the next regular meeting of Humboldt City Council to adjourn the session at 5:45.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you and good night.